So you're wondering which lead generation website you want to get for your real estate business? Well, at our company Agent Launch, we spend over $500,000 a month on Google lead generation for our clients, specifically in the real estate niche. Now in this video, our paid media manager, Axel Runner, is going to break down for all of you by the numbers why it's important to use specific websites over others. Now in this video specifically, we're going to be doing this comparison of Real Geeks and kvCORE. Note when Axel talks about these platforms, he does mention that kvCORE is free, and I just wanted to clarify that that is in the context of people who are with EXP and other brokerages that do offer it as part of their package. If you do get it independently, it is not free, but we find most people that do use it are the ones that come from those places, and that's why we consider it free in this example. Now Axel's going to break down by the numbers why you're going to get so much lower of a lead cost using a platform like Real Geeks instead of kvCORE or other platforms as well. We are very specific about which platforms we recommend for this reason, because some websites just don't convert the traffic as well as others. So it's really important to understand by the numbers how this all affects you, which is what Axel is going to break down in this video. Now we do reference Real Geeks and kvCORE. Also note that there are other providers we do recommend outside of Real Geeks, such as Sierra Interactive does a really good job at converting Google PPC traffic, as well as some platforms like Chime. We do have some issues with that, but usually it does work pretty well. And so this example will be specifically Real Geeks and kvCORE, so make sure you understand that that's not the only option, but it is one of our preferred options, and many of our clients use the Real Geeks plus Follow Up Boss stack to generate the leads and then manage them and make your calls from Follow Up Boss. That's a really common thing within our ecosystem at Agent Launch. If you are looking to build a client acquisition system that you own, that is what Agent Launch does. We build assets in your business that scale with you. If you're interested in that, you can click on the link in the description, go to agentlaunch.com/apply and see if there's a fit to work together. If you're interested in getting these platforms, we do have links down in the description below where you can get some preferential treatment/discounts just for using those links to sign up. So without further ado, I'll let Axel take it away from here and let's get into the video.
Hey everyone, it's Axel here from Agent Launch, and today we're going to be talking about website providers for your real estate lead generation. So there's quite a few website providers out there, but the thing is some are a lot better than others. For our clients, we always recommend using either Real Geeks or Sierra Interactive, and then also using Follow Up Boss as your CRM to manage your leads correctly on the back end. There's other website providers out there, and if you want to know the pros and cons for each one, we do have a video on that if you want to check it out. But for today, I'm going to be comparing two which are very commonly used. The first one being kvCORE, which is free, and the second one is Real Geeks, which costs $2.99 a month. What I'm also going to be doing in this video is I'll be using our past client, Russell Mortlock, who's based in the Kelowna, BC area as a case study. And I'm going to be using Russell because a year ago, he used to actually be using kvCORE for lead generation, and he actually decided to switch to Real Geeks. Now, you might be wondering, why did Russell switch from kvCORE to Real Geeks, even though kvCORE is free? And the answer is because Real Geeks is simply just a better website provider for lead generation. Now, there's three main reasons for this that Russell based his decision around. So the first one being that Real Geeks websites are much faster than kvCORE websites. And in the online world, having a faster website will pretty much always give you better results. So that was his first factor that made him decide that. The second one being the opt-in form. So the opt-in form on a Real Geeks website is fully optimized for real estate lead generation as opposed to kvCORE. And what that does is it captures people's information in a more efficient way, therefore resulting in a cheaper lead cost. So that was his second reasoning. And the third and final one was backed up on our data at Agent Launch. So at Agent Launch, we spend upwards of $500,000 a month on real estate lead generation for our clients. And we've tested every single one of these website providers very rigorously. And the results and numbers have shown that a Real Geeks website in pretty much every market will always outperform a kvCORE website when we're speaking of cost per lead here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to dive into Russell Mortlock's Google Ads account so I can show you the effect of changing the website and what that's had on his cost per lead. So we're now in Russell's Google Ads account. So I'm going to be comparing two different months, the months of October and November in 2021. And I'm comparing these 2 months because Russell decided to switch to Real Geeks from kvCORE on November 2nd. What I'm also going to do is focus on one number and one number only, and that's this number right here, which is the cost per conversion, which is essentially the cost per lead. So notice how for this month of October right here, that Russell was getting a cost per lead of $16.19. Now, I'm focusing on this number because the cost per lead is what enables you to have either a higher or lower number of leads in your pipeline. If you have a lower cost per lead, that enables you to get a higher volume of leads per month. So we're going to be focusing on this number right here for that reason. So what we're comparing here is a $16 lead on kvCORE. Now, what I'm going to do is switch from October to November to show you how this number was affected once he switched to Real Geeks. So we're now in the month of November for Russell after he switched to Real Geeks. And notice at the very start of the month right here how there's a part where the line hits 0. So that's essentially because he got 0 leads, and it's because he was switching website provider. Now, when someone switches a website provider, we don't want to run ads to it because the website might not be working and you might be wasting money when you do that. So what we simply did was switch the ads off. But what you can see afterwards is once he switched to Real Geeks, his lead cost went from $16 down to $7. So by simply just switching his website provider, Russell was then able to essentially get $7 leads very consistently going into his pipeline. So what we're going to do now is take the $16 from kvCORE and take the $7 from Real Geeks, compare them and break down the numbers so then we can see how this can have an impact on your business. So we're now in Google Slides, and what we're going to do is compare the $7 lead cost from Real Geeks that we're getting versus the $16 lead cost from kvCORE. We're going to break down these numbers to show you why it's financially a good decision to make this switch. So we're going to look at two different scenarios here. Scenario number one, we'll be working with smaller budgets, so let's say $1,000 a month. And scenario number two, where we're working with larger budgets, let's say $5,000 a month. And finally, make sure you stick around till the end because this is super important. We'll be looking at the backend numbers and how all of these things have an effect on your revenue and your profit and the GCI that you're making from these leads from these different website providers. So starting with scenario number one is $1,000 a month in budget. So what I'm going to do here is take the cost per lead numbers that we just saw in the Google Ads account and compare them. So for kvCORE, we have a website fee of $0 per month because it's free if you're under eXp Realty. And therefore, if your budget is $1,000 a month, you therefore spend $1,000 per month in ad spend. Now, on kvCORE, we saw that we were getting $16 leads. So $1,000 divided by 16 equals 62 leads. So therefore, by spending a total of $1,000 per month on kvCORE, we end up getting 62 leads per month. Now with Real Geeks, like I mentioned before, there is a website fee of $300 per month. And this is actually the main reason why people don't switch. Is because they want to keep a website that's free, but I'm going to show you why essentially this number doesn't really matter here. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend less in ad spend, so $700 a month in this example, to keep the 300 plus 700 still at that same $1,000 per month budget. So at $700 per month, and we're getting $7 leads, if we divide 700 by 7, we essentially get 100 leads per month through Real Geeks. So what I'm essentially getting to here is you're still spending $1,000 a month, but it's broken up as 300 plus 700, but you're now getting 100 leads. So this is actually a 61% increase in your lead volume per month at the exact same total cost per month. So as you can see, even at a small ad budget per month, making the switch is worth it because you will still end up with more leads in your pipeline. Now, let's look at this at scale. And what we're going to do is compare these numbers from $1,000 a month versus $5,000 a month. And we'll see how this has an effect as you're spending more. So same thing as the first scenario, but we're spending $5,000 a month now. So for kvCORE, the website fee is still $0. Therefore, the ad spend is $5K a month. And we're getting $16 leads. So if we divide 5,000 by 16, we end up with 312 leads per month on kvCORE. Now, with the Real Geeks option, the website fee is still $300, and therefore we are spending $4,700 a month in ad spend in order to make these add up to 5,000. That way we're spending the same, and we're now getting $7 leads. So if we divide 4,700 divided by 7, we end up with 671 leads per month. So you are still spending a total of $5,000 per month, but you're now getting 671 leads through Real Geeks as opposed to 312 from kvCORE. Now, this is an even bigger difference than last time, and this is actually a 115% increase in lead volume per month at the exact same total cost per month. So you can see from these two scenarios, the The switch is totally worth it in either case, but it becomes more and more worth it the more you spend on Google Ads. So keeping these numbers now in mind, what we're going to do is look at some backend numbers. And what I mean by backend numbers is the GCI, the profit, and the revenue that you're generating from these leads that you convert into closed deals. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to make a couple assumptions. We're going to assume that our budget is $5,000 a month for this. And then we're also going to assume that if you close one of these leads into a deal, then your GCI is $10,000 per closed deal. We're also going to assume that you close about 0.5% of the leads, which means that 1 out of 200 leads becomes a closed deal, which is a pretty conservative assumption in real estate lead generation. So those are the three main assumptions. And what we're going to be doing is comparing the 312 leads we're getting from kvCORE at a 5K budget versus the 671 leads we're getting from Real Geeks at a 5K budget. So now we're going to go into some calculations. First off is kvCORE. So at kvCORE, we're getting 312 leads per month, which essentially means you close 1.5 deals per month because 0.5%, which is your close rate multiplied by 312 equals 1.5. Now you can't close half a deal in a month, but in the long run, you will average out to about 1.5 deals per month, meaning that when you multiply that number by 10,000, your GCI per month off lead generation with kvCORE is 15,000, but you then subtract the ad spend, which is 5,000, and you are therefore left with a $10,000 profit per month on lead generation through kvCORE. Now with Real Geeks, remember how at $5,000 we generated 671 leads? Now assuming that you still close 0.5% of these leads, you end up with an average of 3.33 closed deals per month on average, and therefore you're now making a 33K GCI per month. Subtract that $5,000 of ad spend and you're left with a $28,000 profit per month. So in summary here, what's going on is in comparison, on kvCORE, with the exact same ad spend, we're getting $15,000 in revenue and a $10,000 profit per month, whereas on Real Geeks, we're getting $33,000 in revenue and a $28,000 profit per month. And this is the key point here, the one that's in red, is that by essentially spending that extra $300 per month on a better website provider for lead generation, you've essentially enabled yourself to double your monthly revenue and nearly triple your monthly profits. So because of these numbers right here, you can now see why switching website provider is financially a good decision for your real estate business. Now, before we end, there's a couple of notes worth mentioning. And the first one being that even at small budgets, making the change is worth it. So we saw through our calculations that you will still end up with more leads in your pipeline by switching to a better website provider. But the thing is, like, as you spend more and more on ads, the change will be more and more worth it for you. So that's the first note I have to say. And the second one worth mentioning is that not all markets will have the same response to the numbers I showed you. So if you're in a different market to Russell, you might experience different numbers and a different change in your cost per lead. But the thing is, we've tested this through many different markets and many different website providers, and the change is always worth it. So no matter what your market is, the result in the change in cost per lead will always be worth it in order to make this change and will be beneficial financially for your business.
All right, everyone. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you have a good understanding of why we prefer to use a platform like Real Geeks over a platform like kvCORE, and it's simply by the numbers. It's not to say kvCORE is a bad platform by any means. It just doesn't work as well as we want it to for our purposes in generating leads through Google PPC. So I'll say it again, if you want to leverage any of these platforms, I have links down in the description below for you where you can get discounts and preferential treatment just for using those links. If you want to work with Agent Launch, you can go to agentlaunch.com/apply and you can fill out our application, potentially book an intro call with us, and we can see if there's an opportunity for us to partner together in our 6-month program where we're going to build you assets in your business. So thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.